Wow, look at that. And a beautiful day. 90 tons, pretty much 90 tons of almost crystal clear water at a ridiculously warm, let's have a look. It's about 29 degrees Celsius. It's too hot for swimming. It's more sort of lolling about kind of temperature. I tried swimming in it. I got exhausted after 6 lengths. So how can we afford to keep a pool at 29 degrees C all year long? It's kind of ridiculous. But we're off gas. We're heating it by electricity. Which you'd think that's going to be worse, isn't it? They'll think you have a grow-op, you're heating that by electricity. Well, actually, it's not your regular electric heat. We have what's called a heat pump. Here we go. Well, it's not even doing anything right now. It's just sitting there, waiting to heat. So, anyway, when it is running, here's how it works. We got a big fan up here. This blows air out of this box, so it needs new air to go back in. The air goes through here. That's a radiator. So what's in the radiator? We have a coolant fluid all through here, like in your refrigerator. And the warm air goes in here, and it comes out cold here. So it's basically an air conditioner for the outdoors, making the great outdoors cooler. So what happens to the heat that's been sucked out of the air is it gets pumped through to a heat exchanger somewhere in there and ends up in the water pipes. Back into the house, into my pool, keeping it toasty. Well, can water be toasty? Warm anyway, very warm. This is the mechanical room for the pool filter. Down here we have humidity air exchange thing. This tries to recover some of the heat energy from the air in the pool enclosure. There's a membrane in here. The pool air comes in from one side, the cold air from the outside comes in, and they exchange heat across the membrane. Oh, there's the gas heater, which the heat pump replaces. It's not plugged in right now. It's still in the circuit. It's got pipes going in. There's the pipes that head out now to the old or to the new heat pump. And this is still in the circuit because in winter the heat pump cannot get heat out of the air fast enough. So we have to augment with gas. Haven't done a winter yet, so don't know how much. Oh look. Here's my heater monitor system. Little piece of hardware I put together. Hooks up to some temperature sensors which are currently out of the pipes right now after the rework to get the heat pump plumbed in. This was monitoring actually the gas usage on the heater over here. There's my little burner sensor. It's not actually a burner sensor. That hooks up to the valve when the valve opens to let the gas through that the heater's running on. I measure as long as the valve is open. I know the rate because I went down and had a look on the gas meter when it was running. It uses a lot of gas. So this system here was monitoring that gas heater for about a year. In the winter it was costing me about $16 a day to keep the pool heated, and we weren't heating it all the time. We let it cool overnight, heat it up in the day. I could show you all the graphs and stuff, but I'm not sure if this computer's running. It's, like I say, it's all apart since we did the changeover, and I have to hook up the monitors again because I want to know if I'm saving money. Well, that's gas heat. Pretty familiar concept, the gas heat. You get a gigajoule of gas energy, you burn it, you put a gigajoule of heat into whatever it is, a pot of whatever, or a swimming pool. So it's getting good use anyway. But you use electrical heat, say for example like this little guy. Of course they measure it differently. They don't sell it in gigajoules, now they're selling it in kilowatt hours. You can do the conversion, not in my head I can't, but you get a kilowatt hour of electricity, you stick it into your water, it gives you a kilowatt hour's worth of energy of heat. Now, that's not terribly efficient. When you're dealing with electricity, there's better ways to use it. Now, the principle of the heat pump back there is totally different from the principle of the kettle I was using before. Here the electricity isn't being used to heat water. The electricity is being used to drive a compressor, like in your fridge. Your fridge takes heat from the inside of the fridge, moves it to the outside of your fridge. If you go around the back, it's pretty warm out there. There's coils back there. So the electricity runs to drag heat out of the air and then pump it into the pool. Now when you're doing your heating that way, you can get what they call a coefficient of production, which means how many more times worth of heating energy you get, more than electrical energy you put into running the heat pump. So when everything's just great, this will have a coefficient of production of 4 and some to 5, which means you pay for a kilowatt hour and it gives you 5 kilowatt hours worth of heat. When it gets cold, like in the winter, the coefficient of production falls down to around 3 or 2. You're still coming out slightly ahead, just not as much. Now, the gas heater was using $16 a day in winter. This whole unit, all told, compressor, fan, it maxes out at about 6 horsepower. I know, yet another unit of measuring energy usage. But if it were to run 24 hours a day, it could still only use about $13 worth of electricity. So I'm a little bit further ahead, even if this is running all day. And it doesn't. I've hardly seen it on at all today, mind you. It's nice and warm. There are some other considerations with the heat pump, of course, because it has to be outside, because it's pumping heat out of the air. It's vulnerable to freezing, so if you lose your power and your pump dies, you have to empty the water out of it so it doesn't freeze and ruin the heat exchanger. There was a lot of pipe to put in to install it. I think that unit, all told, with the pipe, the installation, that was about $13,000. Now, is it gonna pay? It better. How soon is it gonna pay? Well, we'll see. I'm gonna have to monitor this. So, once I get all my systems hooked up again, I'm gonna have to add some channels to the monitor. Gonna have to do some thinking. That's gonna be the tough part. Hopefully I'll be able to gather some good data, compare it to last year, see what I'm saving, and then hey, if I've got any news, I'll update this video, or no, I'll post a new one. That's what I'll do. That's it for now. Heat pumps. I bought one. See how it works.